On this street, memory is my map. Places, people, and how we lived. It was after the 1968 riots, and the street was a rough-edged mix. There were plumbers, truck drivers, activists, secretaries, and priests. I knew their stories, we all did, but that was then. A few years back, a new neighbor called. "Katie, there's an old man leaning against my front wall. Should I call the police?" I pulled my window up and leaned out to look. It was just 2 doors down. And there was Paul, a retired carpenter who's lived on the street for 35 years. I told the new neighbor, "That's Paul leaning on your wall. Your front porch was his front porch for 3 decades. He lived in your basement, and his wife Emma planted those roses. I think he misses his view." What I wanted to say was, how can you not know who Paul is? He spends half of his day, every day, outside, walking a few hundred yards, resting, walking, and smoking, always in pressed white carpenter pants. I wanted to say, Paul lived in your basement when you bought your house. He moved so you could renovate and get a new tenant. And thank God we found him a studio in the building across from the firehouse. Soon she and her husband moved, and a young lawyer arrived. He married and had a little boy, and one day on the sidewalk, I said, "Do you know you live in an old commune?" I wanted to tell him the story about the woman the FBI chased on their roof. The lawyer was anxious to get going, though. Not everyone wants to know this kind of history. So on this street, memory is my map. I'll say to a newcomer, "Hey, they paved over Mrs. Glass's front yard this morning to make a parking space." The neighbor looks blankly. "You mean where the new condo is?" "Right. That's where Mrs. Glass's house used to be. It was the oldest house on the block, always full of pokeweed and hollyhocks. The only way they got her out of that house was that she fell, and her family came and took her to a home." For many of us, our houses are the center. And if people are forced to move, they don't give up that center that they had. They hold on to it. And so do those left behind. I walk my street among the departed and disappeared, Paul, Mrs. Glass, and the many others. Some days what's missing is more vivid than what remains.